Hi there, so glad to have you on board for another informative edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm Theodore Henry. Coming up, remote irrigation vehicle technology. Plus, we look at some measures to help protect against diseases. Sit back and relax for these and other interesting features along our half-hour journey through the pages of Jamaica Magazine.
Protect yourself from the flu virus. Visit your nearest health center or doctor to get the flu vaccine. Cover your mouth and nose when coughing and sneezing. Wash your hands regularly with soap and water or by using an alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Avoid the spread of germs by not touching your eyes, mouth, or nose. And be sure to regularly disinfect surfaces and objects that are used often. Remember, your health is your responsibility.
It is possible to get sick from foods that have become contaminated through improper handling. In our HealthWise segment today, we look at some important guidelines to follow to prevent foodborne illnesses.
Dangerous strains of bacteria such as E. coli and Salmonella can cause serious health problems when the food we eat become contaminated through improper handling and not being properly cooked. In light of the dangers, there are some important precautionary measures we must observe to protect our health.
We have to make sure we know where we're purchasing our food. If it's straight from the farms, if it's from the market, it's from the supermarket, it's from the meat shop. Ensure that it is clean. When you are preparing the food, ensure that you have a separate cutting board for meats, separate cutting board for vegetables, and you're constantly washing your hands. If you're going to eat out, ensure that the environment in which you're going to take your family is one where you can trust that the food is being prepared in a clean environment. We love our street food, and we encourage, as Consumer Protection Agency, we encourage that economic activity. But we're saying you're to take precautions as well. Ensure that your street food are from reputable person that you know you can trust.
Check the expiry date on food products before purchasing and check them again before cooking.
In food preparation as well, the education is to ensure that you separate the raw from the cooked. You know the raw and the cooked is a totally different environment. So when you mix the two, that's when you have contamination. That's when you have food poisoning. That's when you have a member of the family who might end up in the hospital because they're either very young or they're elderly or their immune system has been compromised.
Discard any food that looks or smells questionable. Don't allow your food to stay open and accessible to flies. Containerize and refrigerate or freeze leftover food before 2 hours after cooking. And always store meats and seafood in sealed containers.
The second thing about food safety is you have large amounts of food laid out for a couple hours or more, and the family keeps coming back, dipping, visitors coming, dipping. You have to ensure if you have the food out for more than 2 hours, hot food, be very careful, especially if you add sauces and other condiments on the food. It tends to go a little off early, and that is where you have problems. If you have an elderly person or a young child, make sure that you put that away early, that you don't put your family at risk, because food poisoning, most of us get well quickly, but it can lead to death if your immune system has been compromised. So we're saying be safe with your food. Ensure that when you package them and put them away, they're packaged in portions where when you take them out to reheat, you don't reheat the entire thing and then put it back in the refrigerator. So you apportion it according to what you're going to be using, so you don't increase the risk of food poisoning or any other bacteria entering the food.
Ensure meats are cooked thoroughly. Remember, improper food handling can mean the difference between a trip to the emergency room or enjoying a tasty meal. cancer, stress, high blood pressure. Guard yourself against these potentially deadly conditions by eating healthy. Give your body long life with foods such as low-fat milk, dried and fresh peas and beans, unsalted nuts and seeds, fresh vegetables, fruits, and coconut water, and eliminate processed seasonings such as seasoning salt, soy sauces, and ketchup. When it comes to meats, remember to remove the skin to reduce the intake of fats and oils. Meats should also be baked, steamed, grilled, or roasted. Fish is also a preferred protein option. To eat healthy, fill your body with a variety of foods from all the food groups. And remember, eat at a slow pace and in small bites to help aid digestion. This helps to maintain a healthy, balanced, and nutritious diet, strengthening your body to ward off illness and prolong life.
It's important for all of us to be alert and proactive in light of so many emerging diseases across the globe. But while we continue to look at safeguards, in this next feature, good environmental practices and hygiene are being promoted to protect our health from diseases such as dengue fever.
The country has had a major battle against the dengue virus. Recognizing that eliminating the breeding sites of the mosquito vector is a major weapon in this fight, the government has been engaging the public. Everyone must play a role, and the key message is take responsibility. A national dengue cleanup period launched in January spurred 3 days of activities to increase this awareness. The communities of Grandspen and Raytown were selected as national project sites, with work also undertaken at 36 other communities identified as critical areas for national dengue cleanup intervention.
Environmentally friendly, safe, and just drop it in there.
3 key stakeholder ministries, health and wellness, culture and local government, steered the initiative.
What the government is doing, we are working with all the leaders in the community, trying to get the message out. So this group that is mobilized has a representative set of leaders of a community. But the political leaders have a critical role to play, because more often than not, public resources are placed at their disposal to use for these kinds of activities.
In recent years, well over $2 billion have been pumped into vector control activities and environmental maintenance, to include solid waste management. The expenditure covers new vehicles with enhanced fogging capabilities and expanding fogging across the island.
Ministry of Health.
More than 1,000 vector control workers have also been hired to identify and treat possible breeding sites in communities and give residents pamphlets with useful information. But these interventions, the government estimates, can only address 20% of the problem.
The other 80% of the problem now is really behavior change. But we are sending a message to the country. Let us change our behavior. And once we begin to do that, the one mosquito that can breed between 1,800 to 3,000 mosquitoes, if you kill that one mosquito, consider how much you save.
Day 1 of the national cleanup exercise focused on schools and businesses. The Jamaica Information Service was among the businesses where staff took time out from their regular work schedule to search for mosquito breeding sites.
Remember to look under your flower pot. This 3-day program is also the launch of a sustained program to have a mosquito-free environment. And if you do find the mosquitoes, we want them dead, not alive.
The JIS, we are helping with the public education program, and so it was very important for us as an organization to mobilize staff to look for the breeding sites and get rid of them.
Day 2, the focus was on towns and communities, which saw Prime Minister Andrew Holness leading the day's activities in Grandspen, one of the national project sites. The team of state and local authorities, supported by volunteers, cleared major gullies at Barbican, Grandspen and Acadia.
This initiative of the government is fantastic.
let us hope not only the Grand Spend, but all of the inner city communities, all the communities across Jamaica see the need to reduce the breeding sites, preferably eliminating them, because that's the only way that we are going to stop the spread of the dengue virus.
The National Solid Waste Management Authority NSWMA teams removed the bulky waste.
The fact is, the conditions for mosquitoes to breed, the water, are found in almost every community in different forms, whether it is certain types of solid waste, whether it is the drums that you catch and retain water in, whether it is the rocks or the leaves in some instances. We have a role to play because dengue and the breeding of the mosquito is right in our backyards, literally. And we must play that role in our own personal interests, in the interest of our family, community, and by extension, country.
There's a commitment on our part to join with the government to eradicate mosquitoes, because at the end of the day, it is the lives and livelihoods of Jamaicans that is being affected.
The third day of the National Dengue Cleanup exercise involved engaging citizens in their homes.
So remember now, this pill has no indication of any harm to your health. All right? So we can just drop it in. Well, that is usually done by the Ministry of Health or persons trained or under the supervision of the Ministry of Health. But what we do recommend is that if you have to store water, that you cover it like this. If you were to buy this mesh pre-made, it would be about $500. But that should be considered against the cost of treating someone with dengue, which could be about $200,000. So just being cautious like this would not only save you $200,000, but it could save somebody's life. And you don't have to buy this ready-made. Any material that is permeable can be used to cover your water container and still allow it to catch the water if that is what you're using it for.
Beach cleanup and gully cleaning exercises in Raytown, the second national project site, was well supported.
I think we've achieved the objective across Jamaica to mobilize as many Jamaicans as possible, starting with leadership at all levels, and to drive the message home, which we have been trying to drive home for the last year, which is that dengue is a serious issue. We can't take it lightly. It starts with the breeding of mosquitoes. A lot of times we contribute to it, knowingly or unknowingly, and we have to start the process by looking consciously for breeding sites and destroying them.
The Health and Wellness Ministry hopes to make national cleanups a regular fixture as it continues to promote lifestyle change in tackling vector-borne diseases such as dengue.
Students in the agricultural program at Vere Technical High School are riding on a technological wave with award-winning innovations to support farming ventures. We now feature one of their latest technological novelties.
Here we have a structured agricultural program. Students sit the subject at CSEC and at the CAPE level. It is divided into two groups, the animal and the crop production. So here at Vere, the students, they tried to use technology. So they came up with the robot, we call it a RIV, which is a remote irrigation vehicle. So instead of coming on the farm to do the watering, the fertilizing and the spraying, the technology itself, which is the RIV, does that job for the students. So it eliminates them being here on a very frequent basis to get that done.
Yeah, I started this group when I was in grade 9, when we first entered the 4-H Tech in Agriculture competition. We first designed a miniature chicken coop that was powered via wind turbines. Our project we have now is our RIV, which is a 3-phase project. We now are at phase 2. Phase 1 was our atmospheric water generator, which generated water for greenhouse. Phase 2 is our robot that catches the water from the generator and distributes it to the plants within the greenhouse. SRC competition, which is the Scientific Research Council competition, we won that competition 3 years in a row. 2019 was actually a relief because we won 2018 with phase 1 of the project. So we actually won 2019 with phase 2 of the project. What we want to do with the robot now is to allow the robot to specify how much humidity is within the soil and tell what type of pest is on the plant.
The RV consists of 3 sections: the watering and the electronics and the movement. All right. For certain vehicles, it's hard to maneuver through certain obstacles. So we designed the robot to work on a very rugged terrain. So it has 6 wheels. The watering is set in a way where it won't damage plants during the watering. So we take specific measurements regarding the gap that is working with, and then our electronics is powered by a solar panel that we place on the back of the robot, which does the charging for the batteries. So while it's working, you don't have to worry about it running out of power during the process. So as it does its job, it charges, and you get a steady feedback on your cell phone regarding what it's doing, how far it has reached in the watering or fertilizing. The most unique factor is that you can leave it in your farm anywhere, and you can stay at work, in your house, anywhere, and get live feedback regarding the statistics of the robot. Battery percentage, location, how far it has reached in the process of watering or fertilizing.
We're trying to engulf the younger generation into the association because we don't want that when we move on, the club and the legacy that we have created die out. So we incorporate the younger ones and so forth, teach them what we have already garnered, especially the experiences from what we have. We take some of the younger ones with us so that they can get the experience as well and help their fellow young mates up. If you're interested in science and technology, it is a field that you have to have patience, because everything won't go the way that you want it to. So you have to develop patience, you have to be a good listener, you have to learn to observe, because through these skills you'll be able to advance your skills, because no one knows everything, so each one teach one. So when you have these skills now, you'll be able to learn faster, you'll be able to learn better, and in the long run you'll be able to develop your own ideas based on what you've learned along the way.
Whatever illness you might have, it is important to visit the doctor at the earliest sign of sickness. For many conditions, early detection can lead to better outcomes. Don't stay at home and self-medicate and allow your condition to worsen before going to the doctor.
If you are a youngster, young child, 14 and younger, older person, or you have a compromised immune system, you have an underlying illness, a cancer patient, a diabetic patient, then your system is compromised. You need to see the doctor quickly and let the doctor prescribe.
Visiting your doctor early protects your health, so you can enjoy more moments, more life.
As we continue to highlight and celebrate our musical heritage this Reggae Month, today we explore how the Jamaica Cultural Development Commission is encouraging music development and heritage preservation through its annual Drum Fest.
Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you to Drum Fest 2019. We are here for Drum Fest. This is the premier section for drummers. It's equivalent to the national finals just for drummers. We wanted to improve the standard as well as get more persons involved in drumming and to see, the part it plays in our culture. So we had that drum fest separated, and once it started, there was no turning back because it caters to a different audience than national finals for instrumentalists and vocalists. Each year it's getting larger and larger. We have a total of 42 competitors. 42 competitors in terms of schools, but of course for the ensemble presentations you can have up to 14 persons in a group. We are talking about mostly our young people. We're talking about primary schools, prep schools, high schools, community groups all over Jamaica. We even have semi-professionals who enter the competition. We have some teachers of drums who also group up and enter. We have congas, we have djembes, we also have even the trap sets. We have all types of drums, African drums, Jamaican drums, and we have the auxiliary instruments that we use as well, maracas, we have cowbells. Check our history. From as far back as you can think, our African heritage and drumming. You say drum, you equate that to Africa. So we find that our students naturally, Jamaican students naturally gravitate towards drumming. They play syncopated rhythms just casually. They don't even realize how technical it is, and they don't understand really that what they are doing is not as easy as they think.
We basically come here to just motivate the kids and let them know that good drummers are here that they can learn from and they can actually have a career from this. Most people might not know, or most people might think that you can't have a career from our kind of music, which is hand drumming, but that is not so. Because if you take a look at, for instance, Chronixx and Kabaka Pyramid, they have two percussionists on their band.
For me, it's just a way to express how I feel. When you come home from, or when you leave school in the afternoon, you go drum rehearsal, feel good about yourself, release out of stress, and just a way to express yourself creatively and stuff. We've been to a lot of embassies with RD drummers. I really like it because I get to go places and meet a lot of people that are very important. Different experiences, they go all over Jamaica. It's just fun. It's a whole lot, it's a brotherhood because I'm not the only girl. Well, not really the only girl, but there are not a lot of girls. I play djembe, but if we're doing Jamaica rhythms, we play Jamaican drums like congas and stuff.
I also teach it in Ensom City Primary School, and the whole school want to join. Everyone put their hand in the air. Sir, me can play now. Look here, me can play now. Like, that's great, motivating and encouraging for us.
I like music and I want to do it in my career. I like that the sounds of the rhythm them and the type of songs I play with the rhythm.
It's nice to play, it encourages me and everybody else and feel the vibes and everything.
We would really want to make it bigger and better. We would want to have better prizes to give to the performers. They have worked really, really hard. And yes, we know they will be getting, trophies at the end, but we have others who are also excellent that we would want to give incentives and so on. So I see the competition going there.
On the board this week, the National Fisheries Authority, an agency of the Ministry of Industry, Commerce, Agriculture and Fisheries, is advising fisherfolk, traders and the public at large that the conch close season remains in effect and continues until March 31, 2020. During this time, it is illegal to catch, sell or process any conch meat. Conch meat, which has been previously declared, must remain in cold storage until the season officially reopens. Also on the community notice board, the Canada Caribbean Institute, in association with the University of the West Indies and Brock University, will be having its inaugural Canada Caribbean Research Symposium from February 17 to 19. It will be held at the UWI Regional Headquarters in Kingston, Jamaica. Researchers, tertiary level students, and policymakers from across Canada and the Caribbean are invited. Discussion themes will include Caribbean culture and the diaspora, Caribbean economic growth and trade with Canada, social issues and education in the Caribbean and Canada, and health and the environment in the Caribbean and Canada. Registration deadline is February 12, 2020. Visit uwi.edu/ccrs, email ccrs@uwi.edu, or call 876-977-6105 for details. The Pradial Larceny Prevention Coordination Unit will be hosting a sensitization seminar in St. Catherine to increase stakeholder participation in the National Pradial Larceny Prevention Program. This will be held on Wednesday, February 12 at the Heart Trust NTA Loadisvale Vocational Training Centre in St. Catherine. Starting time 10 a.m. Stakeholders will present on how proper usage or adherence to current measures can better prevent and protect farmers against pradial theft. The United Church presents Convocation 2020, come Ash Wednesday in all regions under the theme Evangelism, the Heartbeat of the Church. The Northeastern Region's Convocation will be held at Boulevard Baptist Church in Kingston from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. The Southern Region's Convocation will be held at Clarendon College from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. The Western Region's Convocation will be held at the West Jamaica Seventh-day Adventist Conference Centre in Mount Salem, St. James from 8:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. Meanwhile, the Cayman Region's Convocation will be held at Savannah United Church in Grand Cayman from 8 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Come and be ready for a magnificent time in the Lord. Admission free. The Post and Telecommunications Department Central Sorting Office at 6 to 10 South Camp Road in Kingston wishes to advise customers that effective Monday, February 10, all outbound mail items to China and Hong Kong, with the exception of fast-track shipments, will be suspended until further notice. The decision is due to the impact of the outbreak of the novel coronavirus on commerce and logistics with various partners, including international flights to and from China. For additional information, visit jamaicapost.gov.jm or email info@jamaicapost.gov.jm. The Post and Telecommunications Department sincerely apologizes for any inconvenience caused. And that's all for your community notices this Saturday. If you have an event to share on our notice board, give us a call at 876-922-8680 or email cbishop@jis.gov.jm.
We've come to the end of our half-hour journey, but be sure to come back right here tomorrow for another edition of Jamaica Magazine. Until then, continue to watch these and other programs by logging on to our website at jis.gov.jm or subscribing to our YouTube channel. You may also find us on all the major social media platforms and through our mobile app that's Android and iOS compatible. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Theodore Henry. Walk good.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.